In this video, we're going to answer one of the viewers' questions, which is how can I show the matching data points based on clicking on the matching div in Chart.JS 3. So basically what this viewer wants is to click on a certain value and in that moment it shows specific or the matching value. So let's look at this question here, because this was on this video here on how to use the select drop down to update Chart.js with update the chart dataset. So here Gadget Meta had a question as the following. I'm working on my project that deals with the COVID API, and what he wants is basically this. When I click on a confirmed case, which should be a div, it shows me only confirmed cases of the chart, and when I click on recovered cases on the div, it should show me the chart of the recovered cases only. So how can I do that? Can you make a video on it? Yes, absolutely. I'm going to show you how, and this is the video. So let's start and explore how we're going to do this. So with this, basically there's one thing that you can do, or let's do one important part here. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do here is we're going to create a chart in Chart.js. Then after, once we did that, we need to add up the so-called legend. Basically you have a legend or button showing the values, and this is your div as you requested, and this div will be in two ways. There will be confirmed cases and recovered cases, and then finally, and that is connecting them together with the chart. Alright, so here below we have, I would say, just my expected data, what I expect that he will have. So basically he had the expected, he will have a JSON where you get the API data, and then I'm assuming that there will be maybe a country, a continent, or maybe it is already a specific country, but then by date, month, year, etc., etc. So, well, probably, well, not year, but probably month, something like that. So in my case, I assume you will have like countries or continents, and then it will be divided on confirmed cases, and you have another segment of recovered cases. Alright, so just a quick note here, this is fictional. I just made up the data here, and I didn't want to go too deep in it because yeah, it's I guess not the most inspiring data to work with, but let's start to work on, because we're going to give the answer here. Alright, so what are we going to do? Step 1, we're going to create a chart in Chart.js, which I'm going to create here, and then what I'm going to do is here in the Chartjs, click on getting started, copy just the basic item here. I'm going to assume you have this basic data here, and then we're going to paste this in here, and once we paste this in here, put some proper indentations, some enters, and then what I want to do, I want to move this up. All of these values here should be here above, so we can use it afterwards. Alright, so once we have that, we can remove the script tag below. There we are. So we have this now, and then we have this. What I want to do here is I want to create a div here, and I'll give this a class, and this class will be the chart box. So once we have this, put in a div in here, proper indentation, remove the width and height here, and I'm going to assign a specific height and width in the style tag. So we say style tag, alright, and in here we say dot chart box for the class, and then we say here width 800 pixels should be more than enough. Reason why we're doing this is we are forcing Chart.js or the canvas to be a fixed width, so it will not scale into infinity. So that's to prevent that issue. Alright, so we've got this now. We're not done yet. What we need to do next is add up the JavaScript library for Chart.js. So we click here on getting started, and then we're going to get this here. We're going to copy this, and we put it in here, and now if we save this, we can refresh here. There we are. So we've got, you can ignore this information here, we've got everything here what we want. Alright, so I assume you have the data here, and basically you have two datas here that you want to work with. And what we're going to do is here, we're going to put in the data, and then what we want to do is we want to adjust it basically based on what you're asking here, because if I'm correct here, you want to show one or the other. So basically it will show this value, or else it will replace that value. Alright, so to do that, all we have to do is the following here. we can basically play around with this. What we're going to do is the following. Oh, before we even continue with that, I'm going to show you something here. This is really important as well. What you want to have, and I'm going to put it here above. What I assume you will have is you have like a button or a div. When you click on that, that should be active at that moment, meaning that it should have a different color the moment you click on that. So let's start and do that one. So I'm going to create here div. I say div class, and this div class will be the following here. What is the div class here? Let's say here info box, which is our info box, and our info box will have exactly the same height. So we say here dot info box. And what we are going to do more is, besides the info box, we're going to create here another div, and this div will be a class, and this will be item. And then what we have is another div with another item. Why we have two items? Because we have the confirmed cases and recovered cases, and that's what we're going to use. So what we're going to do here is something very useful. So in here, we're going to create a href. This must be a href. Remember that. This will be an href because we're going to use the target element here, or the target pseudo class. Very important here. So we say here, this will be confirmed cases. And then we have another one here. This will be the recovered cases. And eventually this, what we want to do is the confirmed cases will be red, while the recovered cases will be green. And we can even eventually adjust it here as well, but that's later on. Alright, so we've got this now. What I want to do here is here will be a hashtag, and this will be an ID as well. So this is very important. Use this trick. Absolutely use this trick. Alright, I use this as well. This is very useful. So for example, when I click on something, I want to get the value here out. So what I'm going to do is here, I will say this ID will be confirmed. So what I do here is the ID will get the href here as well. And this will hashtag href, and this will be not confirmed, but this will be recovered. We're going to give this an ID as well. Alright, so if we save this now and go back here and refresh, you can see if I remove this, and I guess it's already in here. Oh, sorry. If I add this here, and if I click down confirmed, you see this target here. This target is going to help you out for the design. So we're going to do here some style, CSS, and then we're done, and then after we continue on connecting them all together. So what we're going to do is the following. We have here this, and then we say here on the confirmed, basically here on the hashtag confirmed, which is the ID. So what we want to do is first, oh, that's what we need to do as well, sorry. The info box needs to be improved, I realize, because we want to put them besides, left and right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put in here another class info box again. And then here, all I do here is display flex. And the reason why is we want to put it in the center. We want to put them beside each other in the center, and then we say flex, we say align items, center. Finally, we say justify content, center. Alright, so once we did that, this is the info box as well, capital B. Alright, then what I want to do is, so if I save this now, there you are, we're beside each other. Alright, so I'm going to remove this code here. This is blocking our way. There you are. So what we want to do more is having some padding on the info. So we did .info class. Oh, sorry, not info, it's the item. And here we say padding 20 pixels. That's more than enough. There you are. So we have this. And now what I want to do is I want to give this item a class, or basically what I want to do here is we can give the confirmed ID. I'm going to say confirmed ID, comma, hashtag recovered. So basically confirmed and the recovered ID will have some basic design, because look at this, this is absolutely not appealing. I want to remove the blue, I will make it black font, and underline we will remove that as well. Maybe say even font family, maybe say here what's the font family is sans serif. That looks more nicer. I should put it probably in the default, but that's alright for now. Sans serif, and then we say color, make it black. And then what we have here is text declaration none. Save that. And then you can see here we have a bit better font size, you can see, plus these links now still clickable, but you will not see them. So what we have to do more is to hover. We give the hover effect on here, and then after we're going to use the target effect. So what we're going to do here is basically we can say here the same as well, but then on hover. dot hover, and then here below we cover dot hover, or sorry, colon hover. And in here we'll say the following. We say font weight bold. So once we have this, we have font weight bold, and then maybe we can say here text decoration underline. So it will go back to that. When you hover over, you can see here now something happens. When we click on it, nothing happens yet, and no, it doesn't active yet here. So what we want to do now is the final one is basically the target. So we say here hashtag confirmed target. So this is the pseudo class of target, which of course should have as well for the recovered class as well, or recovered ID. Then here we can say, I realize that they need to be individually. So we say here font, color red for confirmed, meaning that negative, or basically it's like a danger color. And if it's recovered, we can say this is green. So we say you're back to normal, or you're back healthy. That's great. So you can see here, once we do this, nothing happens. But when we click on it, now it's confirmed. However, and even if you click anywhere else, it still maintains the target. And this is really useful. This is basically what you will need. And of course, I want to make this still bold. So I'm going to make that bold as well. We're just going to copy this. Oh wait, I guess if I click on it, you can see what we can do is we can even put it in here. I will say confirm target, but here just get the same layout of underline and bold, so we don't have to repeat ourselves, meaning we are keeping ourselves or the command dry. Refresh, there you are. If I click on this, there you are, there you are, there you are. So this works beautiful. So now we have this one, and we can probably even remove the legend here. It doesn't make any sense here. So what we're going to do now is, well, let's remove the legend for fun. So we say here plugin of plugins. Make sure this is Chart.JS 3. So here in Chart.JS version 3 we use plugins. We say legend. Then we say here display false. Just to remove that one, and then I will put a comma here indicating that we have a next value here. There you are. So now this has been removed. Alright. So now what we want to do is we want to get these constants that we have here. And these constants and all these values here need to eventually replace this here. So how can we do this? Well, basically the continent here will be replaced on this one here, because it's an array as well. So if I save this now and I refresh, you can see now all the continents are being placed in here. South America doesn't show any value yet. Why? Because we only have 6 values here, and we should have 7 values here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the confirmed cases and put it in here. And we can say here as well as label cases. Alright, so you can see here these are the confirmed cases. Now what I want to do here is probably to make the color more suitable. You can see here we have this red. I like the red and I like this green here, so I'm going to copy these two here. So the first one is red and number 4 is green. So I'm going to copy that. And what I will do is maybe here, just to give it the same color design. This is red. And I will make this solid. And I'm going to put also green here. So it will just look equal. Alright, so we copy this. We have the green. Put it in here. So for aesthetics, it looks just a bit more nicer for presentation. Alright, we have this. And then we have red. Fair enough. That looks alright, decent. So now what we want to do is we want to have the color here as well. We want to have the background color here. I'm going to add this background color here. But I'm going to remove these brackets. So our default will have this value here. So what we're going to do more is eventually the border color. And what we're going to do with the border color, same item here. I'm going to remove all of this. There you are. So it's not anymore an array. So if I save this now, we can refresh here. You can see here now we have the red. And these are all the danger cases, or basically the confirmed cases. We could eventually make a variable for that, and that probably will be later on what we will do. So what we're going to do next is now we're going to work with the function to create a onClick function here. So the moment we click on this, it should grab certain values. Alright, so we say onClick equal, and then we say here change chart. Alright, so we copy this, and then we're going to do it here as well. And here what I will do is I will do the following. I'll just say here confirm or confirmed, and here string, this will be recovered. So once we have this, we're almost done here. I can refresh, still nothing happens. This is fair. Okay, let's put this back here. So this is by default. Alright, so what we're going to do here next is to add up the function here. So in this function, we'll trigger the function name on click, which is this one, change chart. We say here change chart, and then here we're going to make a, we have here parameter, which would be the text or cases. I have no idea, you can use anything you want, but this is the parameter, cases, but basically the cases is the string recovered or the string confirmed. Remember, it's a string, so quotations between. So what we're going to do here is basically this. What we want to say is that the moment we click on this, we should grab this value here and assign it to this data information here. So what we're going to do is the following. We're going to use this here. So we go here, my chart data, data sets, which is an array. I'll put here 0. This will be, because this is an array, and then we say equals data, which we have currently here. So that's what we're going to do first. Alright, so we say here, my chart dot, what we have again, data, data sets, so dot data dot data sets, remember, with the 0, because this is an array, indexable, is 0, and dot data equal what? Well, equal this constant here or that constant. So it's one or the other. So what I'm going to do is I say just first, let's do the other one first for now. The moment we click on it, we should expect something here. Alright, so if I save this right now, it will automatically respond no matter what. So if I refresh here and I click on this, then here, oh, does it work? No, I don't see anything yet. My chart equals data case, of course, because we need to put a semicolon here. Let's double check here. No, it doesn't work here as well. Let's see here. Oh, of course. The reason why it didn't work is simply this. We need to say my chart. And the reason why we are using my chart is because our ID in the canvas is the ID my chart. And here you can see as well our text in the CTX or constant. This should be constant. Constant CTX equals document.getElement by ID my chart. Meaning go search in the HTML document for an ID or for an element with the ID name of my chart. That's basically here. This is what we're pinpointing. Now we say here, update this chart. If we save this, refresh, we should now see adjustments. And you can see the adjustments are always consistent with the confirmed the recovery cases here, which is this value. But now what I want to do is I want to make an if statement. So if I click on this, show me this part. If I click on that, show me the recovered cases. Alright, so that's what we're going to do here. So we say here, we create an if, and in here, if cases equals strict, that's 3 times. So if cases is the same as value of confirmed, as you can see already, if that's the case, then my chart data update is this, but then instead of this should be confirmed. Alright, and here we do another if statement. And the reason why I don't want to use an else statement is because else statement is harder to read. The more else statement you have, if else statement, it will become harder and harder to read. So the lesser you can use, or if you can avoid them, it's even better. In our case here, this is very easy to read, and we also know immediately that this works. So we say here, if cases equals or equals strict recovered, copy that, paste in here, and then we have my chart data here. The confirmed cases will be recovered cases. Oh, we can copy this. Alright. Once it does that, oh, make sure we delete this and update, save, refresh. If I click now, alright, that works, go back, there you are. Alright, so that works here. We could maybe do some semicolons here just to make it proper. Although it's not always necessary. As you can see, it's not necessary to add them in here. So it's up to you if you want or not. Doesn't matter so much. So what we want to do more is maybe you say, well, what about the colors? Well, good point. Why don't we make this green if we are clicking on the recovered, and make it red if we are, well, basically it is already red. So what about the green one? Or how can we apply this properly? So to do this, And to simplify it, I'm going to just put in these values here in a constant. So we say a constant, and then we say a background color. Nope, that's not what I want, sorry. What happened here? No, I don't want this. Then we say background color equals this string here, semicolon. Then we have another one, basically the border color. This is another constant. Border color. Well, we could do this maybe with confirmed cases and recovered cases. Basically, we could do that, or we can do with an if statement here. I guess it's probably the same, so it doesn't matter here. So I say here, color con, and also border con for confirmed, and the other one will be ref for recovered. Alright, so we copy this, put it in here, semicolon, and then we can copy this again. Then rec is fine, that's probably the right term for recovered. Rec the first 3 letters. Alright, so I get the green color here. I will just search for here. You can see this is the recovered, so that means this is the green color here. Copy it in here. Then we're going to copy this, and then the only thing what we need to do here is, of course, give it a transparency of 0.2. There we are. So what we can do here now is this background color by default should be set on this, which is a variable and gives us the red color. And the border color, same story here. There you are. And then we go down here, and then we can say here as well, we can say basically we're going to pinpoint again. We say my chart data, data sets, and then specifically the background color. So say my chart dot data dot data sets, and then the color 0. And then we say here background color. All right, equals the color that we're going to select, and then the same here is the border color. This will be border color, and then we can copy this exactly the same, and the only thing what we have to do is to readjust the variables here. So what is the variables? Background con. So we have here the background con, and this would be the border con if I'm not mistaken. Border con, and here is the background rec, and here is border rec. Border rec. Let me double check. Alright, that works. If I save this now and I refresh, you can see here now, and I'm going to remove this here. Alright, so it's not active yet because we haven't clicked anything, and then we click on this. Alright, nothing happens. And the reason why nothing happens is because we are already on the same value here. And then when we click on this, there you are. Now we can see here the cases here, that's all recovered. And we go back here, you can see again this cases. You can see here cases, it says this. And the reason why we have the cases here is basically this one here. We can even adjust the label, that would be a good one as well. And the label, I will just do it hard coded, but you can do it soft coded with proper coding. So it's a label, and this is confirmed cases. And here we have another one. We will say recovered cases, and this one here, this text here will be confirmed cases because it's still red. So if I save this now and refresh, double check what's going on. Double check here. Of course, it's a string. Remember that. Sorry, this is a string because it's hard coded. There's no variable. Save this again. Refresh. There you are. So if I remove this one here, it stays still. It still stays on the same thing. And then eventually, you might use a JavaScript to do this, but it doesn't matter so much. So the moment you click on this, all right. There you are, and there you are. And if you move over, you can see confirmed cases, and if you click on recovered, then you can see here recovered cases. There we are. So this is basically how you can do this and how you can eventually create a dynamic one. And using this target trick here saves you a lot of solution to make sure that it's become highlighted. Because when I click anywhere else, you can see no matter where I click, it still maintains because of this tiny trick here. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in Chart.JS, check out in the description box the link directing to my Chart.JS course where you can learn everything about Chart.JS. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.